Okay. So, let's see here. Looks like everything's might behave today. Maybe. See how it goes. So how is everybody doing today? There we go, doing today. Doing? How you doing? My brain. For fuck's sake. Alright, so it's art day. We're gonna pick up where we left off yesterday. We're gonna have to fluff some more orange. I don't think we're gonna need it for this project, but I think we will need it fluffed when we're done. I'll have to find my ball of orange. I think it's in one of my my bins. One of my multiple bins here. Alright. So we're just gonna pop right into there. So we are following along with the Bob Ross Joy of Painting tutorial series. As we have been, except instead of paint, we are using needle felting. And go ahead and pin that. Okay. And we've been attempting to do this whole series. It has taken us quite a while. This is not as fast of a medium as paint, at least for me. But I still kind of like where we end up in the end, essentially. So yeah, it's not so bad here. We are currently following along with Episode 8 of Season 3, the link to the full tutorial. Man, it's gonna be one of those words are hard days. The link to the full tutorial is in the chat. It should be also in the pinned comment right now for those that want to see it in full with audio, uninterrupted, because we keep it paused a lot. And I know it's been kind of paused on that same scene for a while now, but this one's got some different facets to it. Got some different layers happening, so it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get through. Like, it shouldn't take too much longer in this. Well, no, that's not true. We still have to get our yellow down, so because there's so many different layers of color happening in here, it's one of the reasons why it's taking a little bit longer to work through in this area. And you know, that happens sometimes. It's just kind of the way it goes. But I don't think the yellow will take us too terribly long. My goal today is to hopefully get this whole bit of orange and yellow put in. That's my main goal for today. Are we gonna accomplish it? I don't know. Kind of depends on a few things. I probably could have gotten started a little bit earlier, but I was kind of just taking my time, getting myself sorted. I feel like I have a piece of fuzz touching my arm. That's why I keep picking it up and looking at it. But I don't see anything there, so I don't know if it's just my imagination. Or a loose wild arm hair. I don't know. It could be something sitting on the pad that's touching me, that's why I'm not finding it. Or it could be my own hair touching me. Like, it could be an attached arm hair. This is also very possible. Okay. Alright. Look at this little guy worked into here. Now, ideally, as I was saying yesterday, I probably should have left myself a little more room at the top to work those colors in, but sometimes even when I sketch it, I'm still having space problems. Didn't quite equate for our plan for that top edge spreading out that far. I mean, it's okay. It'll be fine. It's just a thing. As I was putting that in, I was like, I don't think I pulled that up before I put that other piece on there. Like, that could be a slight issue. So I'm cutting these because we don't need a full length in here. Not really. And it would be getting trimmed whether we trimmed it before trying to attach or after. So we'll just trim it first here, it's fine. We have our finger protector, so a finger can be in the way a little bit. And we should be all good now that that's kind of anchored, at least in that spot. On our top edge, we can start to work our way down here. And I'm doing it this way so I can layer and overlap the colors on top of each other. I mean, I could have started to put the yellow in already, but then like the one side might not necessarily be overlapped all that well. Okay, so that is looking pretty good so far. Pretty good. Alright. Now you will have a few more loose ends here, because you're going to have them on both ends. So it is going to take a few extra minutes. Just making sure everybody's attached. So we don't want anybody taking off on us here. That wouldn't do us any favors for sure. And I want these colors to overlap. I want them intermingling. If you don't want that, then you don't have to do that. Now, a lot of the times when we do Bob's black canvases, whether it's with paint or with this, sometimes it kind of feels like, well, what was the point, Bob? Because we've covered the entire thing. So, was there a point into it even being a black canvas? I mean, we could have done the same thing as white. However, I think there is a slight point to it, where the colors shine a little bit different. Because, like, your underneath base color, at least with paint. I've seen it a little bit with the fluff. It'll just hit a little bit different because the way the light's going to hit it, the way the colors are going to overlay on it. Now, sometimes when we're doing it with the fluff, it's like, well, that was kind of pointless because, you know, there was nothing to see. So sometimes, as far as the fluff is concerned, I won't necessarily go to the lengths that we did here. I really only tend to really get the point across that there's black under there if the black's gonna be showing, right? So, because he does a few where the black's completely missing, where all of your other color just lays on top, and you would have never known that it was a black canvas. So that feels kind of silly. So if you do follow along, I mean, paint, I understand why it's done, but for fluff, if you don't want to tag my finger, so for the fluff, if you don't want to invest that much material or that much time into laying down that black just for it to be covered up, that's your choice. And you're gonna follow along with Bob's. Make sure you like look at the end version and see if it's gonna matter, or you could do two versions of it, one as a white canvas and one as a black canvas, and see which one you liked better. That's also an option as like a test piece, like maybe do a small one, two small ones. Okay. So So we've got a little bit of our orange overlapping into the middle, and that's good. We want that. We want some orange hanging out here. We don't want to kill all of it as we go forward. Okay, so hope everybody's Monday's going well. Hope your weekend was good. Or maybe this is your weekend. That's also very much a possibility. We had some more rain this morning, some more thunderstorms. At least they weren't the severe kind. Some of them were to our south, in our west, but we didn't actually get anything icky. Which was good, because I hope... Oh, you know what? We need to ask Tyler if he fared okay. Because I think Tyler was in the path of one of the severe storms, and they were supposedly in line for ping pong sized hail. Ping pong ball. Whenever I see that written out on the weather statements, I'm like, pong pong ball. Or I either try to go pong pong or ping ping. I can't... Reading those two words together, my brain just is like, I don't like them. I keep trying to double up one of them. And I'll catch myself thinking, wow, pong pong sized hail. And I'm like, what the fuck is pong pong? And then I go back and I look at it and I'm like, oh, ping pong. It is just one of those words that my brain's like, yeah, no. What we're not doing is saying that correctly. Alright, so now I did originally have this all slated to be orange in here. I don't know if I want that anymore. Should we just make that more all yellow? Although he doesn't have that much, his yellow is kind of concentrated, so maybe we do need to go back and fill that in with a bit more orange here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way. I know it's hard to see what we're doing. Some of the time. It's either my fingers in the way, or my hands in the way, or they're both in the way. You okay?
Yeah.
Alright. he's still having a bit of a rough time. He got to the dentist this morning and like just had a full-on anxiety attack, and they couldn't do the tooth extraction that they were gonna. So they had to reschedule. But they did find out that the infection that was hanging out on the other tooth that got pulled a couple weeks ago was actually originating from the tooth that's still remaining over there. Because, like, he was still having a bit of infection hanging around even though he finished the antibiotics, and they're like, we were like, oh shit, is it still in the area where they pulled the tooth? And we didn't know what was happening, and then when they went and looked at it today, they're like, oh, so it was the tooth next to it that was infected, and it bled over into the broken, he had a broken tooth. And we're like, that's what's going on. Because we're like, why is this still here? Like, the antibiotic should have taken care of it. They gave him a prescription to fill for another round of antibiotics if it flares up before he has it removed. He's rescheduled to do the removal towards the end of the month. And, so they're like, well, if it gets real bad and it starts to hurt, they're like, here, we'll give you that just in case. But they said, don't take it now unless it gets real painful and flares up, because apparently the abscess is behind his tooth or above his tooth or something. So it's not gonna completely get rid of it. And then he's gonna have to take some to some degree when he gets it full on removed, so. It's kind of like not much point in taking it now if you don't absolutely need to. So right now I'm just kind of coming back in and filling in that space from our sketch line. Just to get that all filled out there. Alright, so So yeah, I'm starting to stab a little bit deeper. I know that, but it's going a little bit faster that way than just the surface stabbing. And to be perfectly honest, doing the normal stabbing that I was doing, it feels like it's more attached. And it was still coming through when we weren't, when we were doing the surface stabbing, so it's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna drive myself crazy. Alright, we need just a teeny bit more. Maybe we don't need to fluff too much orange here. We've still got about half a bag, so that's just gonna be preference at this point as to whether or not we want to do that. Oh, you know what though? I do need a little tiny bit of this to kind of fill in here. So we do have a little bit of a gap. Right in there. That's a little better. Alright, and then we will kind of get this bit under control here. Alright, so we'll just kind of tap you into place up in here and fill in this space. All right. So I know now it looks kind of lopsided, but it's fine. We're gonna put the yellow in there, so it'll all be good. Once we get yellow in, it won't be that bad. Alright, so we'll get that attached in there. Was that pot still okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, let's close up our orange bag. Grab some of our yellow. If I can get it to roll here. Sometimes this stuff's a little slippery. You can also not wet your hands, but slightly dampen them. And then that can help sometimes. And by dampen, I mean just barely touch like a wet paper towel with your fingertips. So this is still the paint box yarn. I've got a lot more colors in that brand than I do in the Big Twist. And I haven't had to raid the Roving, or what I have left of the Roving stuff, just yet. Like, I've got a little bit. I think I've only completely used up a couple of colors in the Roving. Now see there, we've got a gap in between the two, and we don't necessarily want that, so just gonna come back into here. Now I'm okay with that being a little bit longer. Because that whole center is going to be yellow anyway. So that'll be fine. That really won't be a thing. That we'll have to worry too much about. Okay. Alright, so we're going to make this piece a little bit longer because this end piece, is a little bit thinner. So I'm going to just fold it over on itself there. Alright, did we pull? No. We did now. This kind of looks like a crazy mushroom cloud at the moment. cat is dreaming behind me, and his foot is tapping what he's laying on. I was so mad. I was all comfy in bed, and then I heard a crash, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I realized that the fan I have sitting on our windowsill had crashed to the floor. So I got up to pick that up, and then realized that Ed's the reason why it crashed out of the window. And he had spilled the metal water bowl that was underneath of it. Like, the fan hit it in such a way that it knocked it sideways in its stand. And I'm like, great. Now I have to clean up water all over the floor. I'm like, thanks, buddy. I had no idea what time that happened, but it was after I had gotten into bed. At first I didn't think that there had been that much water in it, because they've been drinking out of other stuff, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it didn't actually spill. And then I stepped forward and I was like, god damn it. I was like, really? It's like, yay, a wet foot, and now I have to go hunt down paper towels. At like 5 a.m. I was just about asleep too. I was like, shit. Actually, I think I had fallen asleep and that jolted me awake. Because I had been laying there trying to read for a bit, and I could feel myself starting to not focus on what I was scrolling through. I was like, okay. So I had put my Kindle down. It started to fall asleep. I think I remembered checking the time, and it was like 4:30, and I was like, oh, I'm tired early today. Do I need to... Momo's so silly. He waits for Russell. He won't come to me if he knows Daddy's available. He only comes to me when Daddy's not paying attention, or he really has to go. He tries his damnedest to wait for Dad. God damn it, Ed!
What the fuck did he do?
He was sleeping on top of the fan, and he must have fell off while he was sleeping. That's what he did.
Can you unplug that fan? Because at this point we're not using it till it gets cooler.
That's what he did to me at like 5 this morning, and it jolted me.
Yeah, I'll just cram it on my side of the bed for now, because we ain't using it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He keeps doing that to you. So, there we go. Problem solved.
I'm a jumpy critter as it is, so...
Excuse me, buddy, I need that. Watch that butt.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I could have done without that. Oh, we have stretchy Momo toes?
We have stretchy Momo toes. All the stretches.
Red alert, stretchy Momo toes.
Red alert. We have stretches.
He's like, you're weird. Poor Momo. It's like, you people are just weird. Alright. Getting that snippy snipped. Oh, that's where that feeling's coming from. My skin is peeling on my fingers again. It seems to be some sort of like eczema seasonal allergy thing that I get. And nothing really seems to do anything for it. I can try to put lotion on my hands, but it only does so much. Like, it'll keep it from getting too painful, but it'll still be a thing. I kept thinking I had a hangnail touching my other finger last night while I was in bed, but I couldn't find it. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just saw where the feeling of a piece of skin hitting the other finger came from. It's one of those peely spots starting that I didn't know was there. So that's a thing. Tomorrow we need to try to go to the store. I am running seriously low on supplies. No idea what I'm gonna cook tomorrow, though. Just don't know. I kinda wanna make cheesesteaks. And some veggies. But I also don't know, do I want to make a brownie tomorrow?
cupcakes I'm making for you tonight.
I didn't know you were making cupcakes
Yeah,
tonight.
we grabbed the stuff to make cupcakes.
Oh, I didn't know
If you want,
that.
we can grab you stuff to make a brownie tonight.
Oh, no, that's okay. I didn't know you had bought stuff already.
We can always have that stuff later. If you want a brownie, we can get you a brownie.
I don't know. I was kind of thinking we could grab a box of steakums.
Okay.
And some hot dog rolls.
Okay. Is that what you want for dinner tomorrow?
Yeah, and make some little cheesesteaks.
Okay.
And then I didn't know, did I want a brownie and ice cream or
Sounds like you want a brownie and ice cream.
Well, I didn't know you had gotten stuff because originally you were saying you didn't know how coherent you were going to be if they were.
I was going to make them tonight.
Well, I mean, I didn't really expect you to be making anything.
While the payment was still active, but I didn't get yanked today, so. But no, we can get you brownie and ice cream if that's what you want.
I know, but you already bought that, so now I don't want to fuck up your plan.
Later. Hell, you can use that for my birthday. I knew you guys were going to insist on doing something. Well, there you go. Problem solved.
You want ice cream and a brownie? Hey, boss.
I even ensured you had plenty of sprinkles.
Is that the right ones, though?
Yeah, these are the regular ones. You got the giant thing because all the little ones were mixed.
No. Remember the last time we put the sprinkles on the...
They had the rock hard ones in them?
No. The last time we put the sprinkles on the cupcakes, they got mushy and they were gross.
That might have just been the age of the sprinkles, dear.
Because remember I said now I understand why the Funfetti had the crunchy sprinkles, because those kept it from getting mushy.
We'll find out.
I can still use those on ice cream, though.
Well, you have a giant thing of sprinkles for that reason.
Okay.
Plus, the small ones all had, like, the little hard things in them.
Oh, yeah, I can't eat those. They taste like paper and they're gross.
Yeah, and plus they're tough on you, so.
Yeah. Like the little...
Also, I'll have you know, Boz, I will have you know that I would not take advantage of my wife's birthday to get, what was it? Brownie and ice cream. Give me some credit.
What?
I would say, I'm getting brownie and ice cream anyhow, you can have some for your birthday if I was going to do that.
What? She said she wants brownie and ice cream.
Oh, I thought you were saying that I want it.
No, Boz says she wants it.
Okay, I forgive you this time, Boz. This time.
Can we get the Ghirardelli chocolate chip ones?
Yeah, of course. It's not like it's that much more or anything.
Oh, I don't think we have eggs.
We grabbed them.
Oh, okay. We usually get takeout for my birthday, but I kind of want... I don't know what I'd want for takeout. I kind of want that. Because we don't normally get steakums because they're expensive.
As long as you're happy.
You literally just showed up and heard brownie and ice cream. So, yeah, I mean, we usually don't do brownie and ice cream that often. And we can make the cupcakes, I guess, for your birthday. I feel bad now, because I didn't know you guys had already bought it.
Well, I didn't know you vary on whether you want brownie or not brownie.
Yeah.
So I got cupcakes because it's a safe bet.
Yeah. I know, and then I had to go and be weird this time. I'm sorry.
You're allowed.
Yeah, so... Oh, and I treated myself for my birthday. I had $20 left in my, like, art fund account or whatever. And, I mean, I can do cupcakes if it's less trouble. I just didn't know you'd already bought them. I got Bear and Breakfast. It was on sale, so I was like, well... I need something to play because I can't play WoW anymore. And the headache trigger, the migraine trigger is just too much. I can't justify paying for something that's gonna make me ill. To the point where I'm non-functional. And the girl do what she wants on her birthday. No, I'm saying I'll do cupcakes if it's less trouble. I mean, I'll do either. I was sitting here thinking about it, and I was like, maybe we'll do that if we can swing it in the budget. So no, I saw that And oh, that's right. So Diablo 4, we liked it in the beginning. And we got through the main storyline. We hadn't quite hit max yet. But then things started getting weird the higher we got. And then we're like, oh, well, you know, we're looking forward to Seasons and seeing what they were going to do with it. And then we started playing Seasons, and it just, I don't know, it didn't feel right. It felt clunky. And 3 felt so much better. Yeah, you've been tired with WoW, but yeah, I've tried with WoW, but you've lost interest and everything just feels meh. Yeah, I can't do the dragon riding, and that's like 90% of this expansion is dragon riding, and I'm like, yeah, I don't even have it installed on this computer. And we actually kind of shut down. I mean, I still have my battle.net account, but we're not really doing anything over there, and D4 just, the season felt wrong. It didn't feel right. There's nothing to really chase except gear that has an obnoxiously low drop rate, and the quests I was getting said my level, and I went to go do them, and I was getting my ass beat, and then looked at the level of the area where I was, and it was 10 levels higher than me, and I'm like, well, why the fuck did you give me the quest if I can't kill the things? And you wanted D4 to be like D3. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. Yeah, they want you to grind. Yeah, well, I don't mind the grinding, but there's nothing to grind for. Like, the drop rates were ridiculously low, and if you don't give me a cookie every so often, I'm wasting my time, and fuck this shit. I really also didn't like the fact that they did, like, this paid battle pass thing for Seasons, and half of the milestones, or almost more than half, where you get anything meaningful, you have to have the paid battle pass version to access it. They also want you to play with other people too, right? Like, I solo play. I solo played 3 a lot, because there was stuff for me to chase and stuff to keep me engaged and things. I was playing 4 with Russell, and that was fine, and, you know, I was excited because we had something to play together, because there's not that many games that we do like that we can co-play. And he's like, every class he was trying to play, he wasn't feeling it. He goes, this is weird, resistances are broken. He's like, and they kind of have you like in a corner. 3, you could kind of tailor your spec a little bit more. It's the same fucking legendaries that are dropping in 4. There's not very much variation, and they're really into this like overkill and shit, and I'm like, it felt clunky. It is what it really felt like. That's how all games are going. Yeah, and that pissed me off, because I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the free sections of the battle pass, and I'm like, it felt like a Facebook game, I'm not gonna lie, where, you know, like a lot of like the Facebook slot games that are free, you'll be, they'll have like these little seasonal things where it's like, oh yeah, you can pay to have this version of stuff, or this is the free version. And I'm like, well, I'm not paying for a Facebook game, I don't fucking think so. And I'll wait for them credits to recharge, I don't care. And I'm just looking at the tier, and one of the things for the season that was free that you can work your way up to getting as you progress. Oh, here's a peasant shirt for free. The plainest possible looking shirt ever.
Like a literal peasant shirt, not
yeah.
like Not like, oh, we're just being cheap. No, it's literally a shirt for peasants.
Yeah, it's like the plainest, undecorated, unimaginative thing possible that you would see like a commoner in a tavern wearing. Actually, a commoner running the tavern would have a better shirt. Like it would have like flared sleeves or something. It just, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then, you know, as you get higher, you get the rest of the outfit, but I'm just like, what? Like the most plainest sword ever. And I'm like, I get that you guys want people to buy the fucking battle pass. But now you're just being obnoxious about it? That's how you make people... Yeah, but... They also have to understand that a lot of their base are broke bitches, so... and they don't seem to give a flying fuck. Like, it's... Like, with the WoW shop, it was a little different. Like, yeah, they were constantly throwing mounts and pets in there, but that felt different. This is just like, there's so little flair in the game, because even the legendaries don't look that interesting. And I don't know, I've been like, I don't think, did we uninstall D4? Yes. We might have. Yeah, like, I'm glad that we didn't actually pay for D4. We took like 2/3 of December and January, and we farmed for gold, and we got we sold enough stuff on auction house for us to both get enough WoW tokens to buy 2 copies of base D4. So, don't WoW have 2 servers, classic? And yeah, they've got the vanilla server. They've got, no, there's 3. They've got the vanilla server, they've got Burning Crusade Classic, and they've got Wrath Classic. I'm like, it doesn't feel special if you keep just adding the classic servers in either. They're like, oh, let's ride this cash cow till it collapses. Kind of feeling. I don't know. I'm just glad we didn't actually pay $70 a pop for D4 with how we're feeling about it now, because he's not playing it anymore, and then I didn't want to play by myself. I tried a couple times and it just meh, and I just couldn't get myself to do the things. It's not as fun when I'm alone. And so I was trying to find a new game, back to circling slowly back around to where this all was going. And I had seen that Bear and Breakfast was on sale, and I was like, well, do I really want to spend the money on this? It's gonna be a tight month. Do I really want to? And then I remembered that I still had $20 in my art account, and I was like, well, you know, maybe I could get it for my birthday. And my main thing was, I'd seen somebody else playing. I'm like, can I redo the keys? Yeah, once Cataclysm comes out, who cares? They ruin the world at that point. I mean, it's like, I get what they were trying to do, but at this point, like, the magic is gone. Like, it was a kick-ass thing because it was the hot shit at the moment. But, you know, in-game content or almost any open world RPG you need a whole guild. I mean, we had a guild at the time, and I'm okay. Like, 3 I could run solo. 3 was fine. I had stuff to work towards. I knew what I was doing. There was the rifts that kept me entertained and stuff for seasonal things, and I was okay running 3 on my own. I much preferred 3. In fact, we almost decided to go back to playing 3. We didn't yet. I don't know if we might. If he gets tired of what he's doing, we might reinstall 3. Because we own that. But we removed our... Well, then we got pissed, right? Because they're changing the Authenticator app for Blizzard. Where the old Authenticator app is going away, and the new one they're baking into the Battle.net app. And Russell was gonna swap it over for me because for the longest time I had the little key fob, and I think it still works. Yeah, it still works, but I have no idea how much.
Well, they insisted we switch to the app, if I remember correctly.
They might have, or I wanted to switch over.
No, I think they insisted. That's why we broke down and did it.
Oh, okay.
Because they were saying, yeah, we're going to stop supporting the
separate. Oh, okay, that's right. The fobs were going to go away. And, so we saw that, oh yeah, well now we're doing this new Authenticator app, but it's going to be baked into the Battle.net app. And that was fine, whatever. And Russell was starting to switch them over for me. Except he got partway through and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And because I heard him like carrying on when I was in the other room. And I was like, "What the fuck are you yelling about?" And he's like, "They want you to put a credit card on file to verify."
With a third party is what got me.
Oh, it wasn't even with them. It was the third party.
It's a third party app.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They want us to give a credit card to a random third party to use for our verification, and it was listed as a free subscription. No, that's way too many warnings in my head for something we're not really using.
Online, we don't own anything. We bought the rights to download and play at any time. Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, I was just mad that, because, I mean, it's bad enough that I have to have a card on file with Amazon. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't have to do that when you downloaded their app. It was something new. I saw it on the launcher, over the weekend, where it was, we're changing this app, we're doing this, and I probably didn't have, I don't think I had a payment that I was using because I had been paying for time with tokens. Yeah, it's new. I saw it over the weekend because there was like a QR code on the screen that they're like, "Scan this," and I was like, "What?" And like, I wouldn't care so much if I was like actively playing, but I'm not actively playing. And then for like, our budget got so tight that I was trying to use tokens to pay for my WoW time, so and I think we removed the card that had been on file on my account, so it didn't accidentally charge if I didn't get the time in. And it's bad enough I have to keep one on file with Amazon for my Kindle. Even though I don't purchase on my Amazon account, I wishlist on my Amazon account, and then I say, "Russell, buy this with your mother's Prime account." Because we share a Prime account, but I have my own separate account that I use for my Kindle and my wish lists for when I'm browsing and I'm like, "Oh, I want to come back and revisit that later. I want to get that eventually," that sort of thing. Window shopping, wish list shopping. And the only reason I have to have one on file for the Kindle is because like, I get all the free apps and shit, but you have to have something on there so it can do the transaction of $0 or something. And that pisses me enough off as it is. But I'm like, I'm not giving you a credit card to verify who I am for an authenticator. I mean, I get it might tamp down on like some of the shenanigans of like the authenticator hacking and shit, but no thanks.
It's worth note, Boz, that happened literally 2 days ago. The authenticator thing, that's brand new.
Yeah, fucking new.
I don't know if when we didn't have to do that with the old Blizzard authenticator, but now they're shifting over to a new one. And with Blizzard's current track record, I don't really trust them that far.
Yeah, Russell's been playing a Diablo dupe that was for free on Steam, I think. Path of Exile. And it kind of looks almost identical to D4. Not exactly, but pretty damn close. Or not D4, but Diablo in general. Like maybe an older version of Diablo. I didn't really like the way the UI was set up for me personally. But maybe it's just because it was new and I was like, oh, that looks weird. But,
I still think you would enjoy yourself.
We might download that on me at some point over the next week and see. He plays a spinny barbarian that makes me dizzy.
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously not be able to play that when I'm playing with you. I know that much.
Yeah. You just brought up the launcher. Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I don't. I mean, if other people want to do it, that's fine. That's you. That's okay. But when I'm not even really playing WoW, we just kind of removed the authenticator altogether and removed all of our payment options from Blizzard itself. Just to make sure. You removed them from your account a long time ago, didn't you?
I might still have the old no wait, I think I removed it just recently.
Like payment options, and you removed all my payment options.
Are gone, yeah.
So, I mean,
no, screw that shit.
Since I'm not playing what the fuck ever, if anybody gets into my thing, then here's a whole bunch of shit in my bank and in my bags. At this point, I mean, if you see my character logged on to WoW, then it's definitely not me. I mean, I enjoyed Wrath and then everything else from there. Panda was okay, but everything from there started to feel weird. Oh, did I? I don't know. I don't know what I was doing there. It looked like I had two little guys going here. But, I don't know. It made me feel weird. And I'm like, why exactly? But kind of like the whole Etsy thing where I really didn't want to go that many degrees away from what I was doing to have people have financial information, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. And I didn't have a separate bank. If I'd had a separate bank that was just for Etsy, like separate branch bank name that had nothing to do with our original finances, like our main finances, because right now, well, the bank I had been using was tied to our main financial stuff. Like, we could transfer money to the accounts. They were all kind of linked together. But if I had been at a separate bank, I might have been a little more comfortable if that's all that bank was doing. But I wasn't really making money on Etsy. I lost more than I made, fairly certain of that, between fees and whatnot. I was just like, yeah, no, fuck this. You already have the Battle.net authenticator on your phone. The new one, I bet, because I already have payment info on my account, they're not asking for it.
Well, D had payment info on her account.
Yeah, but she says she has the new one, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, you had payment info on your account, and for some reason the new one wanted you to verify through a third party.
That's weird. Maybe because the authenticator was on your phone? I don't know. Something was weird when we did it, and I'm like, I'm not playing WoW right now anyway, so I was like, fuck it. It became one of those things where I don't want to deal with this for something that that I'm not doing right now, and I'm just like, you know what? That's okay. It became an Etsy thing to me, whereas, like, I'd rather just walk away at this point. Call of Duty made it so you had to put your phone number in to play it these days. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's been fairly common in FPSs lately, hon.
Is that because of all the shenanigans?
To ensure that it's linked to an actual person.
Well, that's looking pretty nice. I like that little color flare there. Oh, look what I did. I did get a birthday present. I got truffles. Yay. So good. I'm gonna have to put them in the fridge because it's gonna end up getting hot again. I don't want them to melt. Those are a special treat. Actually. Yeah, no, we won't. We won't cut that down any further. So if you're hacking or whatnot, they ban your phone number. Gotcha. So they make it a pain in the ass to redo the thing. But yeah, like when Etsy did their third-party verification, we were looking into the company that they were using for their third party, and like all of the alarm bells were going off because the company did not have that good of a reputation, and they were known for spoofing bank pages, so it made you think you were logging into your bank but you weren't. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know about this. And some people were giving their info because like they wanted your password to your bank, and I'm like, what? No, you're not getting my password to do the online quick verification. I'm like, well, no, that's not happening, motherfuckers. And some people were like, just give it to them and just change it the next day after it's verified. Except the next month, they got a notice saying that the information on file was different and they needed to re-verify the bank info. So the third party was verifying it every month. Okay? What? You've done your verification. Why do you need to be all up in my bank business every month? Like, what? Some people were doing the what's that noise? Was Momo dreaming?
Maybe he looks a little out of it.
It kind of sounded like the weird, like, vaguely yippy, but a tapping noise at the same time. Unless my chair's squeaking. It could be my chair, too.
Or mine.
Sorry, it was distracting and... Oh, look, a pigeon happened. But, that's also how they get money selling your info. Yeah, this company is like, oh no, we don't sell the info, and then people were going back and they're like, you most certainly motherfucking are. So, and then there was another thing where people were just sending them like the checking account info, and I'm like, Etsy already has my checking account info on file. I am not giving it to those third-party assholes, because all of our bank accounts were tied to each other at the same bank. And I'm like, no. And some people put up a huge fuss and left, and other people just kind of rolled with it. And I'm like, that's really a personal decision, but since we had so many bank accounts tied in through this one bank, I'm like, yeah, no. And I wasn't really making enough money on Etsy to justify the risk of even like moving bank. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. So we just kind of shut the Etsy shop, and we're like, nope, that's okay. I'll go back to eBay if I have to. We'll see what happens. I think it'll have to be under a different name, but yeah, like Russell was doing some research and it just I really wasn't finding another selling site that I was happy with. I kind of have a half-assed setup on Kofi. I don't have to pay to list, but it doesn't get any traffic because nobody really goes to Kofi looking to buy stuff. It's more of a, oh, hey, I follow this person and they sell stuff here. And you just happen to make sales. It's not like someplace that people go specifically to buy stuff. I could have, but it would have been more trouble than it was worth. Because we didn't have to have a minimum balance in our current bank, so it didn't matter how much I had in there. And I was losing money on Etsy anyway. I made like 5 sales in a year. And every time you list something to sell on Etsy, it was like a 20-cent fee per item. And then there was other fees after sale point, and the fees were getting ridiculous. The fees were putting me in the negative. I just wasn't selling enough to have all the aggravation be worth it. So I was like, yeah, okay. But we have the Kofi shop. I only have like 3 or 4 things up on Kofi. I didn't bother listing everything because I didn't think it was gonna get any traffic, and it's really not. So I was like, okay. I didn't want to sit there for like hours on end trying to get the listings done if they weren't gonna do nothing. So we're gonna try the farmer's market possibly next spring after I get some more inventory put aside. But that's gonna be mostly painted stuff, because I still have a bunch of the magnets left that didn't sell from Etsy. The Bob Ross magnets. And I'll probably throw in a few of the needle felted stuff that I have sitting around. And I've been working on getting some other stuff painted. I don't have the other one that's sealed right here. But I've got this guy that oh my god, the glitter from the stuff from the dollar stores everywhere. But I painted this guy, I think a week ago or so. I still have to seal him, but I think I'm gonna spray seal him. So, and then I've been trying to figure out what else I wanted to paint next. Oh, thank you. And I started working on this because I wanted to see how long it was going to take me. And it's taking me a little bit longer than I expected, but I'll blah 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 blah. I've also been deeply distracted, so I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna finish this. So this is kind of like beach sand, so like dry beach sand, wet beach sand. I'm still in the process of this one, putting in the water. So this is yarn, this is roving, and then I've got a whole bunch of stencils, right? So then I'm gonna take my stencils and kind of like do like a sea star kind of sitting here and like have it like sitting on top of the waves and stuff. I'm picking up some more stencils later this month for like some like farm things, because we're in a farm community, so I can use those to help me paint something real quick. I might not follow the stencil exactly, but I'll like trace it out and then like fill in the spaces in between, kind of thing, just to help me get there a little bit faster. At least that's the plan. Alright, so we're gonna hit play on our tutorial. The tutorial is muted, so that's why I've got the link pinned. Can you go grab me that sunflower one?
What am I grabbing now?
The sunflower that I painted.
Where's that?
It's in the drawer of those shelves. I don't know where you moved them to.
Okay, so you actually put something in those
Yeah,
shelves?
yeah, it's in the
Okay.
top.
Alright, hang on.
I was trying to keep it all together. Okay, so he's starting to put in the clouds. Now that is white. How's this gonna work, Bob? It's picking up that blue underneath. Thank you. And then he's got some little finger guys. Alright, how's this gonna blend, Bob? Sometimes paint is so much easier. Magician he is. I tried to do this with his paint and it just didn't work. It didn't fucking work. Okay. Did I pull the colors out for this? Kind of. I think we decided on the light blue. Like, I tried forever to get the clouds in even when I was doing a big canvas, right? And his paint and stuff. And I swear his paint was too wet. And it was his brand, too. Because it just wasn't working for me. Okay, so I didn't pull the purple yet. And my clouds just, they vanished. Like, am I doing it too hard? Am I doing it too soft? Like, what is happening? And he's gonna go for one more line of cloudage. Or is that the wave line? Huh? He's got a horizon line that comes all the way across. Okay, that's cloud. Okay. Alright, we're gonna... Can we get a... Alright, we're gonna kind of pause him there. The top's a little cut off, but that's not me, that's them where it's cut off. So this was the sunflower that, oh, get up there, flamingo tweezers. So that I did, the first time through. So I was like, well, somebody might like it. And this one was a pretty easy one to do. It only took me a couple of hours. Easy. I had to draw it first, but so I mean, you know, the back I did with a brush on sealer, like an actual gloss brush on sealer, and I don't like it the way the back came, because you can see every single brush stroke, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. So the front, I think I sealed in Mod Podge, and you can kind of see the brush strokes and the light hits it a certain way, but it dried better. But I think I'm going to go back to the spray sealer, because Mod Podge can be a little funny as a sealer. If there's like even a fleck of water in the air, sometimes it can spot, and the spot can go milky. That's why you don't want to have it in like a bathroom. But, I mean, for the most part, it's, came out alright. But I might actually do a painted version of this. Because I've got a whole bag of, I like crown, of these guys, too. So, I think I've got like 40 or 50 of those. Okay, so clouds. Look, Little Fuzz. No, Little Fuzz. Get off of there. Alright, so you're just gonna be fuzzy then. Oh, that's right. I didn't paint this week because A, I wasn't feeling well, and B, I was trying to get that video edit done. That was a beast. Quite the beast. Alright, so I think we decided on light blue for this to start with, and then we can come in and add a little bit of white on the edges. But yeah, I've been like going through Unsplash trying to find some photos I can use as a reference. But then I started seeing the stencils. I was like, I could do some stuff with this farm stencil things. And I can get a fair number of them for the size that I need, because, you know, for this thing, for this, the stenciled objects themselves, they don't need to be very big, just to kind of help me get the shapes in and things. So you can usually get like a pack of like, I think I was seeing like packs of like 83 by 3 guys, or like 30 5x5s and stuff. So got a couple that I was looking at. Okay, so for our cloudy guys, so we've got some straight line guys up in here. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot doing with it, right? I'm just glad that one video edit's done. I've got one that's waiting to be started from the last one that we did, because I'm behind on that. But that last speed felt that I just put up on the channel, that was 17 live streams that had to get cut down. That was a bit of a bitch, I'm not gonna lie. Because I talk with my hands a lot. Like, a lot. And you never realize how much you talk with your hands if you're a hand talker, like I am, until you go to edit out all of the hand talking. And then you're sitting there and you're like, oh God, why? Why am I like this? Why? And then you're like questioning all of your life's decisions, and I'm just like, why am I like this? Make it stop. And it's gotten to the point now where I've sort of accepted that that's just how I am, and I'm gonna have to edit it out. And it's to the point now that I can tell what kind of day it was in chat by how much editing out of that session I had to do of my hand talking. Like, one of the sessions I was doing, it must have just been a really quiet day. And I'm going through and I'm looking, I'm like, huh, That was a really long stretch of a video there where I didn't have to cut anything extra aside from me just, outside of me tapping in the fluff. There wasn't like an extended amount of micro cuts happening. Because if I don't do all the extra cutting of me yammering on with my hands, it'll end up being like a 5-hour long video. And that's sped up by like 800%. I can't go faster than 800% because then it's too much visually to look at. Because I'm like, if my hand makes me dizzy, or it's just painful to look at higher than 800 for me, then there's a good chance that it's gonna bother other people. So like 800% is about as fast as I can speed up that stuff. Anything faster, it's just it's too much. Kind of like how on the rare occasion that I have a Planet Zoo speed build, right? I can't go any faster than like 500 on that. Because I've seen some people do speed builds for Planet Zoo on YouTube. And some of them are really quick with their hands and the mouse spinning around and stuff. Because it's easy to spin the screen around pretty fast on that. On your own without any video speed adjustments. And I'll see them do their speed build, but their hand is already really fast. And then it's just painful for me to look at because of how much faster it's flipping. It's like I blink and they're like in another direction and I'm like, oh, that was painful. And it becomes unpleasant to try to watch. I'd rather see a slower speed build than a faster one for just my visual comfort. But that might be me. And just the way I process video and stuff. Like, I can't do the 3D IMAX theaters and shit. I've tried. Just gives me a headache. It just gets to be too much input coming at me and I'm just like, nope, I'm out. You see that with the Sims speed builds? Yeah, like, I get that people are trying to condense stuff down to a shorter content. I get that. And I know a lot of people's attention spans when it comes to watching builds back and stuff is short. I get that. But some people like to see the longer stuff. And they like to actually see what you're doing. And I'd rather do long form content than so short it's painful. Like, painful to look at. Like I get it, but at the same time. It's like, yeah, no, like, there was a couple speed builders for Zoo that, like, I wanted to see what they were doing. And it got to the point where I couldn't really watch their stuff. I'd have to, like, flip to the end just to see what it looked like when they were done. And if there was a specific thing in the middle somewhere that I wanted to see how they did it, I would just kind of try to push through, but if it's too fast, it's not enjoyable. Like, I tried running Planet Zoo at the same speed that I was running the speed felts, and I'm too quick-handed with my screen flipping with my hand for that to be watchable. It's a delicate balance. 3D does that for you as well. You need Dramamine for the park rides that are 3D and moving. Yeah, like, I don't get, like, motion sick it just, it like, I can't even go to the regular movies. I get so migraine triggered. I don't know if it's because the screen's so big and the way my glasses are. I don't know what it is. I just don't know if it's just all of the things. Like, I don't know if it's because, you know, you're in a large room with other people in an not unfamiliar, but like public setting, I guess. It's not your safe space. And like, I've never been able to find an area in the theater where I can sit and comfortably get through a movie. I might start out okay, but by like halfway, I can feel it. I don't know if it's because the speakers are too loud. It might just be a combination of everything. 'Cause like, even when I'm home and I'm like watching a movie, I'm not really watching the movie. I'm listening to the movie and watching parts of it. But it's more that I've got other stuff going on while I'm watching it to be comfortable. But I mean, forget IMAX or anything 3D. That don't work, especially with my glasses. But yeah, like, we don't even go to the movies. Like, if there's something I want to see, we might risk it. I might put myself through it. But half the time I'm waiting for it to come out where I can get it and watch it at home. Are they still doing DVDs now, or is everything gone to streaming? I don't know. This is how much I watch movies. Completely dating myself. Yeah, no, how old are we being tomorrow? What's this, 2023? 2. I'll be 42 tomorrow. You listen to the TV or movie? Yeah, like, it has to be something that I'm like really invested in to actually sit there and watch. Like, we did a watch party with our friend Tyler. We had got him invested in the Venture Brothers some time ago. You can still get the DVDs. You just wait and hope it'll be free on something someday. I mean, yeah, like, actually YouTube does a lot of free movies. They're old, but they do a lot of free movies with the ads, and I'm like, that's fine. I'll do that. I don't have to pay for it. That's fine. I have a whole book of DVDs. I just don't have a DVD player, which is kind of sad. But I don't have the DVD player anymore, but that's fine. Alright, so these clouds aren't going to look the same as Bob's. That just is what it is. Our clouds are going to have our own little twisty take on them. But, you love Tubi, best free streaming app ever. Russell, our friend Tyler, found Pluto TV, and they have a lot of stuff that Russell likes on there for free. And I never really paid much attention to the streaming apps because I hear streaming app and I'm like, oh, money. So I'm just like, yeah, that ain't happening. So never really paid much attention to it. I might check out Pluto though, because I'm running out of stuff to listen to in the background while I'm working on things. You can only rewatch stuff so much. But we got our friend Tyler into the Venture Brothers, and we were gutted when Adult Swim canceled it, and we're like, but they left the season end on a cliffhanger, and they didn't even know it was coming either, because they were working on the next season, and they got like pulled in, and they're like, yeah, we're canceling you, and they're like, what? Like, they begged to even get Adult Swim to just let them do a wrap up, and they're like, no, we're done. They've still got their stuff on stream though, the old stuff, which is fascinating. The other seasons, but they're like, nope, we're calling it here. And I'm like, but why? And the moronic Johnny Quest of our time. And I'm like, you can't. Hank vanished. We need to know what happened to Hank. And so they you'll be 42 next month too. Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't checked out Pluto yet, but so we were excited when HBO said that they would do the wrap-up movie. But man, the pace of that wrap-up movie, that was a roller coaster ride. And then there was the sadness at the end when we're like, there's no more. It's all done. There's no more Brock. There's no more Hank. There's no more Dean. There's no more Billy giving Dr. Venture shit about that's not how this works. There was still like minor character questions for me, and I'm like, but wait, what happened to this person or that person? And Russell's like, we don't need to know. They wrapped up everything. And I'm like, no, you might not, but I do. I want to know what happened to so-and-so. And now we're hoping that they might end up getting another special down the road or something, but or that somebody else might repick them back up, but it was so sad. That's what headcanon is for, just make it up. Yeah. It was quite a roller coaster ride there when they were trying to find their mom. There was quite, I mean, that was like the biggest question through the whole fucking series of, we don't even know who our mom is. And then there were all these like veiled references as to who she might be, and like the longest running joke in that show was that every time that it seemed like Dr. Venture was going to tell them who their mother was, he got interrupted and something happened, and they never got the straight story. And technically they never did get the straight story from, like, not like spelled out completely, but like it was implied different things. I mean, the wrap up was still good, and he picked it up. I think he bought a streaming copy of it, and then he did a watch party with us over Discord so that we could see it, because we didn't have the money to pick it up. It was fun, but it was also bittersweet at the same time, because we're like, oh, no more Venture Brothers. That's sad. But like, who's Eric Cartman's father? I've never actually gotten invested in South Park. Russell watched it for a long time, I think.
Nah, not that long.
No, not that long? Okay. I think you've seen more than I have, though.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Definitely. I've seen a couple episodes here and there, and I think you tried getting me to watch some of it at some point, but my brain just was like, but what about this? But what about that? And I couldn't. You still watch it ever since the beginning? Like, we'll watch Futurama a fair bit. I was really into Daria for quite a while, and I'll still go back and rewatch that from time to time. I feel like maybe we've got like just a little bit more here. I'm kind of mad that there's that gap there. I might try to fill that in. On the very edge, right there. I don't know. Does this stay that way? He's got the screen in such a position that I can't Okay, it kind of like halos it a little bit. Alright. But, like, we don't have TV access in our room anymore. We couldn't afford the extra box for something that we weren't really watching, so we're like, fuck it. I'm trying to remember what I did watch when we did have TV. I'm trying to think back. I liked the old Law and Order stuff. Like the original version. I was actually watching that on Netflix when we had Netflix. And I think I was like halfway through, and then they removed it, and I was like, but I'm not done! I was like, you fucking bastards! Speaking of fucking bastards, what the hell was that?
I think it was a little jumping up on the water.
Okay. Cats have been so bad the past couple of days. They're just knocking shit everywhere. Peanut knocked over. He knocked a gallon of water that I had sitting on a table because he wanted to sit there. And I heard a thud, and I'm like, what was that? And Russell's like, I don't know, the cat probably knocked something. It's fine. So I didn't get up and check right away. And I had opened the gallon of water. There was only like maybe that much missing from the top of the gallon. And a little while later I had to get up to get something out of the kitchen. And as I walked into our dining room storage area, it's really just a pass-through room. We don't really have a dining room table in there. I saw the gallon jug laying on its side, and I was like, and I was like, no! And I quick went to scoop it up and realized that 2/3 of the remaining water had soaked into the rug around it. And there was like maybe 3 inches of water left in the bottom of the container. I was like, you bastard! And he's like, meow. He was trying to get into my box of freezer pops. The plastic things from when we were kids. That you put in the freezer. Little plastic tube things. We'd picked up a box of like 300 at the beginning of the summer. I still have some. I go through them slow. And he was trying to climb in that box while I still had popsicles in there because we didn't have enough room in the freezer to dump all of them in. We could dump the rest of them in there, but then they're going to be in the bottom of the freezer, so we're just like, it's fine. We'll just keep taking them out of the box. Well, somehow the box had gotten uncovered. I guess the blanket or whatever we had sitting on top of the open flaps got shifted. And he found it. And he was starting to climb in there with his sharp fucking claws. And I'm like, get the fuck out of there. And I know they're squishy to lay on. I was like, sir, it's not even so much that you might pop the popsicle and I'll lose it. It's the fact that you're gonna pop the popsicles and be covered in sticky sugar water. And I'm not washing you. That's really what it came down to, because it would have involved a cat bath. And he'll turn himself inside out and sideways to get away from you if he doesn't want to be involved in the activity that you are trying to make him participate in. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh, that's on Pluto too? Cool, because we have some of it downloaded. You haven't watched proper TV in years. You have a Fire Stick and just a bunch of apps. We tried to do a house Fire Stick, except when my dad was alive, he didn't understand how to operate the remote because the remote didn't have numbers on it like a normal channel changer. It was like a black rectangle with like a circle and like arrows, and he couldn't handle that operation of that because next thing we knew, he was yelling at us because he bought a $20 movie that he didn't mean to buy or something, and so we had to nix that because the cable prices were just getting ridiculous. And we were way out of budget. We had to switch back to the local telephone company for our internet. But it worked out because when we switched back, they finally had the fiber running through our front yard. And it's still less than what we were paying. Did you ever fill out that paperwork and send it back to them?
Which paperwork?
For the phone company? For the reduced cost?
Honey, we walked it down there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I remember that now. There's just been so much paperwork that we've had to fill out and send places lately. Oh yeah. Cat knows what it did. Yeah, he just sat there and looked at me. He's like, no. I'm like, no. So we were trying to grab puppy pads to soak up the water out of the rug, and it was a mess. I was less than pleased. And he knew it too. He knew he was in trouble. 'Cause we don't use the tap water here. They say it's okay. But Russell's lived here long enough, and now I've been here long enough to see it for myself, where, yeah, oh, that's alright. I don't trust you motherfuckers. Like our neighbor was telling us, whenever she gave her dog water from the tap, it was always getting sick. And then for a while there, randomly the water would just be rusty brown, and I'm like, no warning whatsoever, and I'm like, what? Now they have replaced a lot of the water lines in town. But it's kind of hard to trust the tap water when half the time it comes out smelling like mud, and the other half of the time it smells like a hotel pool. An indoor hotel pool. You know, like the Holiday Inns and stuff, when you walk in and the chlorine just smacks you in the face. Like, I'll go to the bathroom at like 2 or 3 in the morning, a couple of times in the early morning as I'm settling down to go to bed and stuff. I'll like pee, and then like an hour later I have to get up and pee again. And when I flush the toilet, I'm standing above the toilet and I can smell the chlorine really strong, and I'm like, god damn. Like, what the hell? I should not be smelling the chlorine that far away. That strongly. And we've occasionally gotten a letter in the mail that said, oh, when we were doing our testing, the bacteria levels were slightly increased to this amount. It was still safe for human consumption, but we dumped some more chemicals in it to make sure. And the next test, like the most recent test, just came back and it was fine. And I'm like, when was this test done? And it'll say the original test was done in like August. We got the letter in October. Okay. So I'm like, what? I'm like, why are we just getting the letter now? I'm like, should we have been boiling the water? Like, what is happening? Like, oh, it was fine. We didn't send it out sooner because the levels were still within acceptable range. And I'm like, uh-huh. Sure it was. And every so often it smells like mud because they get, the water comes from either a local lake or another lake that they supplement part of the town with certain days of the week or something, or on the weekends. And depends on which part of town you're in, if you're in city limits or outside of city limits, who your water is coming from. And it's like, that's nice. Yeah, I get that it's coming from a lake, and people start bitching about, why does it smell like mud? They're like, oh, the lake's turning over. It does that every so often. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I think you're full of shit, but I can't prove it. And that's just not real appealing, to be drinking something that smells like mud. So we do bottled water for everything. It definitely doesn't make our budget happy, but it's better than the alternatives. Much, much better. I mean, people can say what they want about Jersey, but we never had a problem with our tap water when we lived there. It never, like, it would smell like chlorine a little bit here and there, but nothing like here. Like, yesterday there was another water main break. Somebody was like, and like, people in this town will go to Facebook before they contact who they should. So I'm not on Facebook very often anymore, but I occasionally pop in there to see what people are bitching about in town. And I think the one Facebook page for the town removed me because I didn't really post in there regularly. But I wanted to be on the page because it was, you had to join the page. But I wanted to be on there in case, you know, we had to ask a question about something. Or we found somebody's pet and we're like, hey, is this somebody's pet? And somebody's like, this street and this street, there's a whole bunch of water just like gushing down the gutter, and people are like, maybe you should call the water department. They have an emergency after hours number. Or at the very least, the non-emergency police number. I mean, something to let somebody know that there might be a problem. And then other posts started chiming in of, oh yeah, no, there was a water main break. They're probably flushing the lines now after fixing it. 5 hours later. But I think that's on the side of town where there's still... Oh no, they might have finished on that side of town. Maybe they didn't get to that street. But, like, that end of town, I think they might have only partially replaced some of the old water lines. Your tap water is fine, and you'll grow an extra head someday. Yeah. Like, it was okay. We never really had any major complaints when we were in Jersey. It was alright. Not like here. Not like here. At all. But then again, there was a lot of things that were different in our neck of the woods in Jersey than there were here. Like the recycling. We had a really big recycling center nearby. Like a couple of towns over. And they're the ones that picked up the recycling. It wasn't the city, it was the recycling center. They had their own trucks and stuff that would go out and pick up people's shit. Here, the trash department, the waste department, picks it up and takes it to the dump, and then it's sorted at the dump, and then they have a contract with somebody else coming to pick it up and take it wherever they're taking it. So the trucks were really good, or the sorting system was really good at that place, because before we left, it was to the point where we didn't even have to separate it out anymore into what it was. They're like, just throw it all in one bucket. It's fine. We'll take care of it. And we're like, really? Because when we first started, it had to be, clear glass, brown, green, and newspapers here, aluminum cans here, plastic here. And then it started to switch where, okay, your cardboard and paper can all be together. That's fine. And your glass doesn't have to be separated out by color or anything anymore. Just keep all the glass together and all that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then it progressed to the point where, okay, just, keep the paper separate, and then this all can be together. And then right before we left, they're like, just throw it in one can and we'll figure it out. And I'm like, this feels weird. We can put the cans and the glass and the plastic all together. They're like, yep, fine. Don't worry about it. Just throw it in there. And we're like, okay. And here, oh no. No. That doesn't fly here. That bird's been shot out of the sky and eaten. Here, cans, plastic, but only plastic. Oh, plastic, but only plastic that has a 1 or 2 on it, and then all other plastic they won't take. So if it has a 5 on it, you just have to put it in the trash, or any other number. And then the 1s have to be in their own bin, and then the 2s have to be in their other bin. And I'm like, so I'm doing waste management's job. That's what this is. Okay. I am sorting it for the city, because they don't have the people to do it, I guess. And they're like, oh, everything has to be, we need you to be like pre-rinsing everything so it's like squeaky clean in the middle, inside. I'm like, no, I ain't doing that. That ain't happening. I was like, that's going too far. Like, if it's really obnoxious, like, I'll rinse a can out and stuff, but like they want like every like last particle removed. I'm like, yeah, no, that I'm not doing your job. I don't get paid to do that job. I'm paying you for me to do this. No. So it's like, I'll rinse it and I'll get like the worst of it out, but I'm not gonna sit here and scrub it clean and run up my water bill. That's okay. That's okay. You can take care of that, friends. And that sounds like a you problem and not a me problem. So it has to be number 1 plastic in one bin, number 2 plastic in another bin, aluminum in another. We separate out like our like soup vegetable cans from like soda cans, because I don't know if they can be together, and the city's so funny. I'm just like, nah, we'll just put them in their own. And then we have our cardboard in another. However, they used to take glass. Yeah, like Russell goes through so much peanut butter. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of water in and put the lid on and shake it and dump it, and then I'm like, there you go. I'm not gonna make it in a I'm gonna keep this and reuse this container for me condition. I don't need it. I'm not going to that level for something I'm getting rid of. I'm sorry, I'm not. But now they don't take glass anymore, which is weird because they're like, the recycling company that they're using, I guess, is still taking glass, but the city's not picking it up anymore. You can drive your little ass up to the dump where the recycling drop-off is, because they have one where you can take it yourself. But the gates close at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So then you can't even access the recycling bins at that time, like after that time of day. And I'm like, yeah, right, okay. By the time I'm functional and can do stuff, it's like 2 in the afternoon, so that ain't happening. Because people are like, oh, the city's just not picking up, but you can still drive it up there and they'll still take it. And then people are like, oh, this place in Fayetteville, they're still accepting glass, but you have to drive it up there. And I'm like, motherfuckers, we live in the boondocks. We live like 25 minutes on a heavy traffic day from Fayetteville. Why am I gonna load up my car with my glass that I have to save until I have enough to make it worth it to drive to Fayetteville? Waste the gas, the time, the energy to drop this off when they could just be picking it up. And I'm just like, yeah, no. And I'm not gonna drive around with glass recycling in my car for who the fuck knows how long. No. And it feels so wrong every time we go to throw something out that's glass, and I'm like, oh, they won't fucking take it. A couple of times I've caught us throwing the glass in the recycling bins, and then I'm separating it out outside, and I'm like, oh, right, this is trash. I mean, sometimes we'll try to reuse a glass jar for something, but, you know, it's like, yeah, okay, sure. So we're kind of doing our, like, snake swirlies, our snail shells, on this group of clouds here. This is going to take a little bit of time to work in. But yeah, oh, so getting back to, I got sidetracked. So I did pick up Bear and Breakfast. Getting back to that. That was how long ago? I swear I have ADHD. And I thank you all for putting up with it. But, I get excited about other stuff and then I get distracted. And I was on the fence about getting it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. And you know, I know it was only $16, but that's a lot of money for us right now. And I was like, well, you know, get it for your birthday. Treat yourself. Or say it's fine. I've got to do it. And I started playing it a little bit last night. And you can remap like just about all of the keys. And there was like a couple of keys where it didn't want me to switch to what I wanted it to, so I just had to pick a different key, but pretty much let me remap just about all the keys. And the ones that I tried to remap anyway. And that was fine. I'd seen somebody saying that they wouldn't recommend it because the gameplay was slow and it took forever to make money. And I'm like, yeah, but are you one of those people that has to have like a fucking $1 trillion empire or something in any game? Because you know, I'm okay with, you know, letting it get there. And I started playing it, and I will say the gameplay is a little slow, but it's fine if you are just in a chill exploring, I'm okay with this kind of thing, and it's fine. And I actually, they were like talking about how you can only sleep at night to make the time pass faster and stuff, but I gotta tell you, I don't know, like there doesn't seem to be a penalty for not sleeping. You have the option to sleep at night to make time pass a little bit faster. Between the beginning quests that I had, and I was just kind of like intent on trying to get through that, and then I was like, well, wait, what happened to the very first quest we got? We never actually completed it. And so I was trying to walk back through to see if that quest was still a thing and if I was still supposed to get the item that was requested. And I didn't see it in my quest log, and I'm like, okay, maybe we weren't actually supposed to ever find the thing. And I had to go back to my house to get something, which was a couple of load screens away. Like I had to walk through different parts of the map to get back home. And I grabbed the thing and then I brought it back, and then one of the other people I was with was like, hey, the thing. And And the character's a little slow, and I can relate to them. They don't remember things very well, and I could totally relate to that. And they're like, the person that was with them, we forgot all about the thing. And the poor bear that's the main character is just kind of standing there looking at their companions like, what thing? And they're like, the thing for so-and-so. And they're like, the thing for so-and-so. And they're like, huh? And then it finally clicked. And they're like, oh! And they're like, that was days ago that we were supposed to go do that. And I looked at the time that had passed in game. And it had been 5 days. And I hadn't slept at all. And I was like, oh, was I supposed to? I'm like, it didn't tell me that I had to sleep. I didn't have a stamina bar. So I was just so intent on doing the quests that it gave me to start out. I didn't bother sleeping. And I wasn't near my house to sleep, so I was just kind of rolling with it. So. But and then we finally go back home and talk to one of the people that had sent us out on an errand that we never did. And so it's also, yeah, kind of. And I mean, you are picking up garbage to use for currency at one point, so I was like, okay. And it's terribly cute so far. I'm not that far in, but then we finally go back home, and the person that sent us on the thing, and they're like, well, you must be tired, you should get some rest. And I'm like, but do we need to? I'm like, okay. Like, they didn't make me sleep, and it kind of auto saves as you go, so it's not like you have to sleep to save. They just tell you when your bear character is doing a specific, he has like a specific thing above his head not to log out. But it's been pretty cute so far. I haven't gotten that far. I was trying to buy some stuff to upgrade, like plans to upgrade my shack, and I didn't have enough money, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I did have to wait for my first guest to check out to get some more money to do some upgrades on it, but I'm like starting to figure out that I should have placed something in a different spot, and I can go back and move it. But yeah, it's kind of cute so far, and I'm liking it. I mean, I'm super slow. It takes me forever to do anything in Stardew Valley, so it's not really a downside for me. Yeah, like, I'm okay. Like, they're not, like, rushing you through a day, which is fine. And, because, like, I start to feel panicked, like, in Stardew Valley and a little bit in Coral Island, which is why I slowed the time down in Coral Island. I was glad that was an option. It might be an option in Stardew Valley, too, I think. But, like, I couldn't get stuff done fast enough, and I'm like, what do you mean it's already 5 p.m.? Especially on, like, plant days, like, beginning of season. I'm like, it can't be that late already. And, stuff, so I'm glad that they don't make you sleep, but it is an option. Like, you can only sleep at night, so if you're, like, waiting for something to happen, you can sleep at night to speed things up. But I was just so intrigued by walking around and exploring and finding materials that I was going to need to use and stuff, and inadvertently finding quest people to talk to. And so, I mean, right now I really don't think it's an issue. I'm not sure if we'll stream it. I can, if you guys want. It is a little bit slow, but I can stream that if you all want, or like at least show it for like a day maybe. See what's happening tomorrow. Maybe we can do a little birthday stream with Bear and Breakfast. It wouldn't be till later in the evening though, because we have to run some errands. Like, so it would have to probably be after dinner, because I have a feeling by the time we get done from running errands, it's going to be time to make dinner. Oh, this is a big cloud. Maybe I should be making these bigger. I'm doing these little snail shell guys just to try to get some poofy texture in here. I mean, I guess I didn't really need to, but I'm like looking at this and I'm like, oh, he extends out a lot further than that. Maybe we should have started with the small bit, like out here. How far out we going? It's a lot further out than that, but let go. But that's okay. Just trying to get some like poofiness going on in here. And if you don't want the poofs, you don't have to do it that way. Seems interesting to check out, still on your wish list, but you have too many games already that you don't play. I need to restrain myself. Yeah, our friend Tyler has so many games, but he has Humble Bundle that he's signed up to. So a lot of times we end up with games gifted to us from him that he wasn't interested in. So he's like, hey, you guys want this? I actually don't have that many games. Not really. Not compared to him and Russell. I certainly don't. But, sorry, we've got some loose little fuzzy guys here. I mean, I still have Timberborn, and I know we haven't come back to that in a long time, but they've only done, like, some minor add-ons. And I feel like with Timberborn, you can only replay the same part so much, so I'm just kind of waiting to see what else gets added in there. There was starting to be like a little gap, it looked like, opening up around there, but then again, that fuzzy gap might work to our advantage, so maybe I'll just kind of... It's like a little bit of like grayed out gap there. That might work to our advantage, so maybe I'll just leave that. But I think we're just about out of time for today. So your problem is all the games you have technically never end, so yeah, I mean that's another thing. Like I still have Fallout 76. Oh, speaking of, did they do the Atlantic City update yet? He's not paying attention to me. So Fallout 76 was supposed to do, I don't know if it was a DLC that you had to buy or if it was just...
No, it was just like an expedition.
Just an expedition where they're going to do like an Atlantic City thing, and I'm kind of intrigued, so I might reload that up and pop in there.
We might go check it out at some point just to see.
Just to see how bad it is. So.
Well, it's supposed to be Atlantic City Boardwalk, so.
Yeah. It's a place that we're familiar with to a degree, so.
I just wonder if they bothered to do as much research as they did in other stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that would be interesting. But, you know, so we'll have to see how that goes. But, you know, I'm kind of happy with how we look right now. We're starting to put our clouds in over here. This guy needs a little bit more height to him before we get him fully filled out. And, but we got the color explosion happening over here, so the lighthouse, top of this lighthouse will come in, and that'll be like silhouetted out in black in there. And then we'll work on that. But right now we're working on our clouds over here. So we'll get a little bit more height on this guy over in this section, and then we'll stretch him out to here. And then I've got a little bit of white that I'll probably weave in around the tops of these just as we go. If I Fallout 4 is your favorite, it's home. Like, I like Fallout 76 to a degree, right? Like, I'm not, like, jumping up and down to play it all of the time, and I did play quite a lot of it when we were really into it, but you know, then after a while I kind of got tired of it and stuff, but I haven't touched it in a while, and I think I still might go back to it as much as everybody's like 76, but I want to see the Atlantic City thing. That intrigues me, and so that might get me to play again for a little bit, probably not for a huge amount of time, but a little bit. There's another game I have on my wish list, but that still says release date coming for third quarter, and I don't see one yet, so I don't know if that's actually going to release anytime soon. But in the meantime, we still do have Coral Island, and they are still updating pretty regularly, which is refreshing, because I've seen so many early access games that haven't been. I actually had another game on my list that was early access that I'm like, it's been sitting there for a while, and I'm still kind of interested in it, but I said to Russell, it's been in early access since like 2021. He goes, that's not uncommon. And I was like, okay, but like, when was the last time they did any meaningful update? And he started digging around. He goes, oh, and I'm like, oh, right. So apparently people were bitching that it was taking them 6 months between updates, and they were minor patches. They weren't anything meaningful. And I was like, oh, okay. So maybe we won't hang our hat on that for a while. But we'll see. Like, there's just not that many games that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to play that. But I do have the Katamari game on my wish list, the new one that came out. And I almost wanted to get that instead. However, I can only do so much Katamari because I'm a very tense person when I hold controllers. I don't just hold them, I death grip them. So I don't know what it is about them. I death grip them. I can't help it. Doesn't seem to matter the shape, size, or whatever. And my thumbs hurt real bad. And I'm like, why do my thumbs hurt so bad? And then I'm like looking at them, and they're like turning white on my nail because I'm pressing the button so hard. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't do that. But so I can only do it in small doses, but I just haven't pulled the trigger and gotten that yet. And maybe down the road if it goes on sale, because it's still like a new release. I'll keep an eye on it. I have my wish list in case it pops up for any kind of discount or something down the road. But we'll see. So the next planned scheduled stream is on Thursday for Coral Island, and they're supposed to be doing their fall update sometime this month, I think. They didn't have a date listed yet. I'm not in their Discord, so if they posted the date in Discord, then I don't know it. But as far as I know from Steam and the emails, they just said sometime in August. So it might not be till towards the end of the month. We'll see what happens, but that's going to be their diving update. There's some farm equipment updates coming in with that, and some farm animals. They've got a lot coming in, supposedly, if it all makes it in. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm intrigued with that. That's been going pretty good. And hopefully we'll get to winter this week, so we can start to rip the farm up entirely and start our new layout that I really want to get to. Which is why I kind of stopped decorating midway. I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this layout. I want to change it up, but I also didn't want to chop down all of my trees and start them growing all over again. So I'm waiting till winter when growing season's done. At least for the field. The greenhouse should still keep going. But, so we've got that coming. We might do a bear and breakfast tomorrow evening, maybe. It depends on if Russell has anything that he's doing with Tyler. We'll see. So make sure your notifications are on here, and I'll post in Zortz's Discord and on Twitter if we decide to do it. Depends on what ends up happening. You never know. I could be down with a migraine tomorrow. We'll see. But that's the plan tentatively. And, if we do, we'll consider it bonus content for tomorrow. But I'm really happy with how this is starting to look. We'll be doing more of this on Sunday. And Saturday will be the challenge zoo. I'll be starting my desert section. I have a couple of things I need to do outside the desert. I'll probably do them this week. They're not huge changes though, so I'll probably just do them off stream, and I probably won't bother recording it because it's just boring throwing some facades up. Shouldn't take me too long. Yeah, so, and then Friday we have the solo Planet Zoo. Where we're not quite done working on the Cappy area yet. I realized I have a couple more rocks I have to add to the exhibit, and then I have some facades I have to throw up on some other buildings. But we got the Keyvamp Cappy Cafe put in as a thank you for the donations that he made recently. It was very generous of him. I was not expecting that one way or another. So terribly grateful for that. And yeah, so I will see you guys later this week. I hope your week goes well. Is Zord streaming? I know he said he was off today. Sometimes he streams when I do. No, I don't see him streaming right now, so yeah, thank you, and you enjoy your evening, and I will see you all maybe tomorrow, but definitely on Thursday. Have a good week, you guys.